No, it'll be taking forever. Hey, y'all. Hi.
Welcome, welcome, welcome,
We
welcome.
made it a whole like 30 seconds early. How are
Yep.
you? How are y'all doing this fine 4th of July Eve?
Yeah.
Right?
It's a Fourth of July for the books.
We know y'all got y'all ribs marinating, your chicken wings. That potato salad better be done. That macaroni, that cheese better be ready to go.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
Got all your stuff ready to go. So
Mhm.
all you gotta do is put a couple things in the oven,
There you
throw
go.
your meat.
There you go. Well, the meat should already be done. The meat should be getting like good off the grill.
No, see, like I always first of all, we don't even celebrate the 4th no more because Xavier's birthday is 5 days after. So like I'm not paying for two parties. But I always like let my meat like marinate like the day or two before.
Mhm.
And the only thing I cook the day of is the meat and like the macaroni.
Okay.
Everything else is done the night before.
Yeah, I usually cook. I usually do if I got a lot of meat to make. I'm gonna do that the day before. Finish it up at night. Put it in the refrigerator. Then the morning, put it in the crock pot. Usually my ribs, put them in the crock pot so they start falling off the bone. Heat up my oven, get it to a little, just warm everything up. Just because I don't want to touch no grill the day of. I can't.
See,
I don't.
I don't mind. Hold on. I gotta turn this show off because they left Bubby's show playing. And if I yo gabba gabba one more time, I'm gonna yo gabba blow my brains out.
So while she's doing that, I would like to personally just do our whole little spiel for new people here. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. I'm looking at our Facebook page. This Horror Talks with Nisi and May. We have 107 likes and 112 followers. Now,
Woo!
literally before we started, it was 111.
111. Yes. So thank you, new follower and new
Listen,
liker. Hey, how you doing? You family now?
we doing our thing. So if you on Facebook, go ahead, drop a like. We be trying to have y'all laughing on Facebook.
And
I
we
know.
know that y'all can't be on Facebook for no hour 20. So what do? We take this and we upload it right to our YouTube. Okay,
Yep.
it's Horror Talks with Nisi and May. Same thing as our Facebook page. On YouTube, you can find this video and like 15 others.
Yep. And
We
for the
got we got
people,
content.
yeah, for the people who are on our Facebook, we're trying to integrate y'all over to YouTube because we currently have 4 subscribers, and we getting there. We gonna get there. YouTube, the algorithm on YouTube, I'm learning is a little um is they're more content based. So if you have a lot of content out there and you constantly put things out on a regular basis, YouTube will start to push it out. But drop a like. We got to get our engagement up over there. So if you view, come back to it, view it later, like, put in a comment. Today we are talking about Uncle Sam. So if
Uncle
y'all
Sam.
put a flag or something in the comments,
Yes, if
that
you're watching this, put a flag in the comments.
that would
Or a
definitely,
firework.
or a firework. Yes. So take it away, Nisi.
Okay, so I picked this movie because it's 4th of July content, and I love horror and holidays. You give me those two, I'm a okay. So this is directed by William Lustig, and William Lustig also did Maniac Cop and the original actual Maniac, which I love that movie. I like Maniac Cop too. It's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
So
it satisfies that slasher needs
yeah,
because
and
it's
it has Bruce Campbell in it. So
yes,
yeah.
yes,
And then also written by Larry Cohen, who, if you know Larry Cohen, you know mostly from The Stuff, which is like an 80s classic, right?
mhm,
But he also wrote a lot of black exploitation films like
yep,
Hell Up in Harlem and
yep.
Black Caesar, which is why when I found out Isaac Hayes is in this movie, I had to do some more research. I was like, how do they, like, in my brain, I was like, how do they even get Isaac Hayes? And then I started thinking, like, oh, okay, because he did these black exploitation films. Isaac Hayes was a huge black exploitation star.
Yep.
It made sense. Now, with that being said, like that's going to be your most notable person that you would know off rip if you're black is Isaac Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
But not his best film.
Woo, and we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So we start off in like this like war wreckage, and you have these two officers walking up, and this chopper has been shot down during friendly fire, which means they were pretty much just like, I guess, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I'm not military, but I would say like practicing. Would that be the right way to describe friendly fire?
Yeah, that's what I understood from
like
it.
They're practicing their war tactics.
Yeah.
And they got shot down, and everyone on this helicopter died, and they're talking over these bodies, and like this guy just wakes up and like shoots both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like fucked up too. Like he looked dead, but he like wakes up and shoots both of them. And then he's like, it's just a little friendly fire. And then he like falls back out. And like that's your opening. Like that. And then you get all of these weird ass clips of like flags and like 4th of July celebrations and like Uncle Sam propaganda and war propaganda.
Yeah.
Right. And I told Cranston, this just feels like very Proud Boy-ish. Like just the way they was pushing this movie off rip.
I mean, listen, I get patriotism, I get it. But woo, when you go so deep into patriotism like that, you go hard about it. It's
right.
Giving Proud Boys.
Okay, so then we get introduced to Jody, and Jody's like 12, and he has a picture of his Uncle Sam on his dresser, and it falls over, and it wakes him up. He steps on it, he cuts his foot, and he goes to his mom's room and wakes her up, and he's like, hey, I cut my foot, my picture fell. And she like, gets the glass out of his foot, puts a Band-Aid on, and like sends him back to sleep. And I'm like, that is like quintessential 90s parenting. Take your ass back to sleep. The boy was limping out the bedroom, and she's like, you'll be fine. Good night.
It was a lot of blood too. Like,
yeah, like it wasn't no.
Man, I was like, ooh, that's a lot of blood on that foot right there. Ooh.
Right. So then you see like Sam is the boy's uncle, right? The picture. And you see his wife, and she's on a date.
Ooh.
Right. Mm-hmm. And is with like the deputy, and he's trying to get some action, and she's like, we good, stop trying.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when he was like, well, she's like, you're on duty, and he was like, well, when I get off work I can come back. And she was like, you already need to go about your business. Mm-hmm. She said go about your business. I was like, boy, stop trying.
Right.
So she gets out the car, she goes up to her porch, and there's this creepy ass like sergeant just on her porch in like the bushes. Mm-hmm. And he comes up and he tells her, like, hey, we found his body, Sam's body, your husband, and he's going to be fully decorated and buried a hero. Do you want the remains sent home, or he can be buried in the military cemetery? And she is like stunned. And she's like, it's been 3 years. We haven't heard anything. Pretty much like she knew he was dead, but she still had like some hope.
Yeah.
But you can tell he didn't have the best relationship just based off her reaction. Like she don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, because she didn't seem like she was heartbroken. She was just like, so he's dead? Like
yeah, like more like in shock.
Yeah.
But what kills me is like she's like, no, just send his remains back. They have a family plot. He can be buried next to his mom and his dad. And the sergeant's like, that's cool. And then he's like, it's okay, you'll get over it in time. And I was like, damn.
Yeah. Move on.
Right. So he leaves, and she goes in the house, and it's like the weirdest like sob cry release. Mm-hmm. And mind you, the audio is not that great. Like this is definitely like a lot of this shit was like dubbed over. Like there's a lot of AR in this movie.
Yeah.
Because that sounded nothing like her voice.
Yeah.
Right. And then like you cut to like the Isaac Hayes scene introduction that made no sense of him. Like he's like in a hotel under like red lights, and like all of this war shit's on the bed, and like the picture of his platoon, and You can tell he has PTSD. That's what they're alluding to. But the way it's shot, it's just him by himself in a room, red lights, and he's putting on his uniform and he's like talking to his platoon and like upset that he's the only one that survived. And that's literally it. Like there's no other context to that scene. That's literally what happens. So the next day, Sam's wife goes to Sam's sister's house and Jody's house, right? And Jody is like obsessed with his Uncle Sam. He's obsessed. He has a box with all of his medals under his bed. He reads nothing but war comics. He's always talking about joining the military like his uncle. Like this kid is obsessed with being in the military at 12 years old. Okay. So the wife shows up and the sister's like, what's going on? And she's like, well, I don't want to say in front of Jody. So she tells Jody to go upstairs. And it cracked me up because I was like, here's another 90s mom. Because she was like, oh, did you clean up that glass from last night? And he was like, yeah, I did it this morning. Like, I would never. And maybe I've just gotten soft because we weren't raised that way. But like, I would have swept that glass up myself. I want to make sure you got it all.
Yeah, because we don't need you cutting your foot again. You forgot.
Right. Simpler times when like kids were responsible for themselves.
Yeah, totally. You on your own.
Yeah. He's like, I cleaned it up before I went to bed. It's like 3 a.m. He's wiping up glass. But the sister comes in. The wife comes in and tells the sister, hey, they found Sam's body and they're sending the remains back. And the sister's like, what the hell did you do that for? They could have kept him where he was. He was a monster.
Right. And that's where I was like,
so you're getting the idea that Sam isn't this great guy.
Yeah.
Right. And then like Jody overhears this. Like, I don't know why they just didn't tell him, but he overhears that his uncle's dead. And this is where me and Courtney just looked at each other because he goes and gets the box of medals from under his bed and he goes to school. What possessed this child to just announce in the middle of class that his uncle died?
Yeah, that was.
Whew. No prompting, no show and tell, no journaling. Just, I have something to say this morning.
You know how little kids be. They just gotta share.
Shit. But then this is where, like I said, me and Courtney was looking at each other like, what the fuck? And we both just had to stop because he was like talking about his Uncle Sam and all this stuff. And he's a war hero and blah. He went to Kuwait and because he got killed in the Kuwait War. Yeah. So this is 96. So that was the war around that time. So the teacher was like, yeah, I remember Sam. He was in my class. And we were like, motherfucker, you look our age. Like, how were you teaching him?
Right. What?
This man didn't look a day over 32.
Yeah. Like, how old is this lady?
Period. So he like shows all the medals, and then they're talking about like why the teacher didn't go to war, and he was like, it was back during Vietnam for me, and a lot of us didn't agree with the policies about going to war. So some people didn't go, like myself, and some people left the country temporarily. And he was like, my uncle says you're a coward. Like the kids start talking shit to him. And he's like, all right, you can go have a seat now. And he was like, well, I didn't say you were a coward. I just telling you what my uncle said about you guys. It's like, kid, read the room.
Woo. He was a straight shooter, that kid.
And the fact that he had a mullet didn't make it any better.
I know, because that was like the bad kid hairstyle back in the 90s. Like every kid that had that fucking haircut was
the bowl cut mullet.
The bowl cut, bruh. That bowl cut, man. That went double platinum in the 90s with white kids.
Like this motherfucker looked just like Junior from like Problem Child with his hair.
Yes. Dennis the Menace-esque.
Right. So the body shows up. Now, mind you, this was probably one of the best scenes in the movie, like the shot of them rolling the casket into the house. I really like that scene. Larry Cohen can, William Lustig is a great director, so I knew it was going to look nice.
Yeah, it did. I will say that the audio wasn't the best, but the quality, even right now watching this movie in 2023, the quality was not that bad.
The visual quality wasn't bad. The special effects were sketchy. We'll get to that.
They were. Oof, they were. God.
So the body gets to the house, and Jody's like riding his bike all excited. Like he's excited to see his dead uncle in a casket.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he gets there. He wants to
This
look
kid
inside.
this kid was already giving me like
Yeah, something was
a little-
loose.
What's up?
And there's all these whispers about Sam behind his back or whatever, and he's trying to look in the casket. They won't let him. And then we get to like the wake, which is when we see how Isaac Hayes fits into all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So they're having the wake at the house. People are coming by. Isaac Hayes' character shows up, and he's welcomed by the sister.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, Sam really looked up to you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I failed him. Now you come to realize through him talking to Jody, because Jody notices he has like a missing leg, like he has a wooden leg. And he goes outside and shows Jody, and Jody's like, tell me all about the war. And like all wide-eyed.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you're just like your uncle. So apparently Isaac Hayes was this war hero. He was the only person in his platoon that made it. And he has PTSD, and he became friends with the parents of the family.
Yeah.
And he would talk to little Sam when he was little about the war, but he kind of glorified it to the point where this is what Sam wanted to do with his life.
Right.
Kind of like Jody's doing now.
Right.
And this is where Courtney like literally almost spit out loud, was when he was like, I'm going to go to war and I'm going to be a sergeant general too. And he was like, now you get that foolishness out your head, boy. The look on Courtney's face when he said that shit, because he sounded like Chef from South Park. He sounded exactly like Chef, but the way he said it, he said it like he was on a plantation. It was so funny. It was too funny for me.
Definitely. Woo! Isaac Hayes, rest his soul, but man,
what was he doing?
He has really just a one note. He's a one note. Like he can't help but to have that. You better go sit down. Like he can't help but to like.
Okay, no, I grew up on like Black Caesar and Hell Up in Harlem and Truck Turner and all that shit. Even I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Like, how did we go from that to him sounding like a slave? I have no idea. He sounded like he was about to be like, now go around here now, little one, for massacre. Yeah. That's how he was saying it.
Oh my gosh, he was. Ugh. God.
But, he leaves, and, he's kind of upset that Jody feels this way. Jody doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then it's nighttime, and we see these kids, these rambunctious teenagers, in the cemetery painting swastikas on his grave, like where they plan on burying Sam, right? Yeah. Yeah. So his headstone is there, the 6 feet hole is dug, but there's no body yet because they just had to wait that day. Yeah. But they're painting like swastikas on gravestones. They burn the American flag, and they throw it in his, awaiting grave, and that wakes him up.
Yep.
From the dead.
Yep. And then why? And then that's where the bullshit started.
And why, you ask, why that simple act woke him up? Because they're unpatriotic.
Yep, that was his sole motivation.
And he died for this country because he loved this country.
Yep.
That's how he woke up. Now, as I had to explain to my counterpart, you don't ask why Jason wakes up. You don't ask why Michael Myers wakes up. So why do we ask why Sam wakes up? He was not happy with that answer. I digress. So he's out the casket. He's walking around the house. Nobody hears him. Yeah. Right. And like Courtney said, nobody smells burning flesh because this nigga is crispy as hell. He was like, he looks like a 4th of July hot dog.
Pretty much. A burnt, crispy, the good crunchy hot dogs.
He looks like a 4th of July hot dog, and I lost it, y'all. This is the person that I need as a guest sometimes, because the shit he be saying, I can't help but repeat because it's just that good. Like, y'all think I be cutting up. No.
Quality.
They be cutting up.
Quality content.
He's afraid of the camera, but I just repeat what he says. It's just that funny. We say like a 4th of July hot dog. So, and then I automatically think about Jennifer Coolidge in Legally Blonde, Red, White, and when she's like, I want a hot dog real bad. Like,
yeah.
But he walks around upstairs. He gets the box of medals from Jody's bed. Jody doesn't even realize he's there. He's sleeping.
Yep.
And he opens his shirt, and he pins all the medals and you hear the crunch of the pin going into it because he is burnt.
He's a crunchy hot dog.
Like dry and crispy. Like this man sounds like focaccia bread. Like it's just like
it was bad. Ugh.
But he pins those medals and that purple heart to his chest.
Because he was. I mean, that was his. That was his chest. That was his whole life. Like he's wearing it proudly.
His chest.
Yep.
And then he goes to his sister's room and he looks over her and then he leaves. So then you get this other scene. Now this shit was funny to me. Like it shouldn't have been funny. But you have to understand these movies are only good if you're watching it with people that will commentate with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we see this like chick getting undressed in her bathroom. And there's this creepy Uncle Sam character in the window.
Yep.
In a costume. And he said, 40 minutes and 33 seconds in, you're going to see some TNA because you get a flash of her flat butt cheeks and a flash of her flat boobies.
Yep.
I just keep thinking like she had to have been a production assistant or something because she had nothing to show.
Yeah. You know what? There's actually like a little, not a trivia, but I looked on the IMDb page for Uncle Sam. And one of the little trivia notes is that actress, she only agreed to the nudity if she could get the Uncle Sam like mask after production was over with. And I was just like, damn girl, aim higher. Aim higher. What the hell?
I mean, and during this time, like gas was high. You could at least got a gas card. Like back in the day, remember the gas cards that our parents used to be trying to get from everywhere?
Man. No, that was some good stuff.
So millennial fact, and I feel like we need to add a millennial fact because we talk about these old movies and people just don't know the references. So gas being high now isn't new to us.
Yeah.
This is probably like our third time going through. We went through it once with our parents as kids.
Yeah.
Once during 2008 during our college years. And now, right? So during our childhood, our parents had that gas hike and you would go places like if you bought a certain amount of groceries, you get a gas card. If you like opened up a credit card, you get a gas card. The bank would give you a gas card. So like my dad used to go everywhere he could think of to stock up on gas cards because he would need them in between payday.
Absolutely. A gas card? That was like a gold platinum.
Right. This was before like speedy points and like gas station points. They had gas cards.
Oh yeah.
So just a little FYI, but we see some disappointing nudity.
Yeah, very
for a mask. And she's like, "Get out of here, you pervert!" Now, if you watch that clip back, because I did, her mouth is not synced up with the ADR at all. Okay,
they just said fuck it.
But you pan out, and this guy is on stilts. So you got a guy in an Uncle Sam costume, red, white, and blue, top hat, all that shit, on stilts, and nobody noticed this man in her window.
Right. That was wild. That was crazy.
Nobody. To the point, he almost got ran over by a car.
Yeah.
Backing away from her window. Right. So then we cut like immediately to him running through the park.
Yeah.
We don't know when this happened or how it happened, but Sam is following him.
Right. So he running, he hauling ass.
We have no idea if he had been like, it literally is just like he almost gets hit by a car running away. Boom. He's telling Sam to stop chasing me.
Right.
It's a really weird edit. And Sam is chasing him with these hedge clippers. Now, my first thought was, dude, why are you still on the stilts?
Just take them off. Like, you can get away.
Because he's trying to run like wide leg on these like huge ass stilts, right? And then he hits a tree and he falls. Clearly.
It was great to see, though. It was so great.
That was funny.
It was so great to see. Like,
funny as hell.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, leave me alone." And then Sam is just coming up like this, super slow. Like this man could have rolled over or something. Like kicked the stilts off, took the pants off, anything. He just lays there. And if you listen to it, he goes, "What's wrong with your face, man?" I hollered when he said, "What's wrong with your face?"
Man. Ugh.
Okay. And then I had an original thought, which was, how long is it going to take for him to stab this man with these hedge trimmers? That was like a 3-minute scene.
Yeah, it was. It was dragged out.
And then you don't even see it. I'm telling you right now, this is not gore candy. This is not carnage candy. This is like made for TV PG-13 horror.
Yeah.
It's there's you see nothing. Like the screen goes black, and then that's it. You just hear him scream, and then he takes his mask or whatever. And then you see him cutting up the clothes with the bloody hedge trimmers. Now, me being the person I am, my thought was, how did he know he needed a disguise?
Good question.
Now, I understand, like, if you look up the Wikipedia, it says that he's a revenant, right?
Yeah.
And revenants are different than zombies. So revenants maintain all of their thoughts, memories, feelings, all of that shit, unlike a zombie. And revenants are like old folklore from like Celtic times.
Okay.
Right? It's really interesting to read if you ever want to look it up. But I only know about revenants because of Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat 10, yes. It's a whole storyline where, like, you know, dead Liu Kang and all them come back as undead and they like run Outworld. It's a whole thing. But that's where I learned about revenants from.
Okay.
So they still remember everything. But I was just like, did he look in the mirror and go, damn, I'm gonna scare some people with this?
Yeah.
And like he needed a costume.
Hmm.
Like the self-awareness to put on a disguise.
Right. And then of all disguises, it's a Uncle Sam.
Right.
It's an Uncle Sam costume because, you know, where do you find Uncle Sam costumes all like
well,
that?
we know this town is so small and they do this huge 4th of July thing, right? So the Uncle Sam is supposed to be Uncle Sam for this party or parade or whatever. So we know this town is really into this holiday. But like I said, it's just did he put those medals on the mirror and go, well, shit,
Mm-hmm.
how am I gonna walk around this bitch? And then like, how did he even see the guy in the costume in the first place?
And it was really very a coincidence that this was happening around the 4th of July. So
yes.
I mean, it does make, now I think about it, it does make sense for the Uncle Sam costumes to be around because, you know, he comes back and reanimates right the early hours of the 4th of July. So, you know,
mind you, this isn't going to be the first time you ask what the fuck. This is just like the first time you really ask it. So he has this costume on now.
Mm-hmm.
And we cut to the next day. It's 4th of July. Now, Jody's been banned from going to the 4th of July celebration because he was acting up at the wake.
Oh, wait, we got to back it up.
What?
Because he went back to the cemetery.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Juvenile delinquents.
Right. Ooh, you're so right. I forgot about that. So he goes back to the cemetery where they were fucking up his grave.
Right. Because it went back. Because then it's like, because I even asked, I was like, well, what happened to the people that was like fucking up his grave?
I had already forgot about them at this point because I was just so like, well, when did you start following this nigga? I was so stuck on that.
Yeah.
I forgot about them. But he goes back to the cemetery to find them.
Yep.
And he throws the one guy into like the grave.
Mm-hmm.
And he breaks his knee and it said it looked like fruit gushers.
It did. I was like, is that supposed to be a bone?
He said like a pack of melted gushers.
It was like
wet and gooey and like it looked like a
look.
fruit roll up. Like it looked delicious.
They tried the best they could.
It looked like the middle of like a strawberry pie.
Yeah, jelly donut. You know,
like it looked yummy. It didn't look scary. It looked delicious.
Yeah, it looked like it definitely like a cherry pie. It definitely did.
Or like some sour candy.
Mm-hmm. That was supposed to be a bone. That was supposed to be a bone. It came through the jeans and everything, and I was like, all right now.
And he buries him alive.
Yep.
Right. And then the other kid, he like hangs him up on a flagpole till he chokes and dies. So that's what happened to the grave desecrators.
Yeah.
See, now I want some gushers. Anyway, then we go to the next day and it's the 4th of July celebration. Jody sneaks and goes there because his mom these are like the most 90s of 90s parents.
Yeah.
Because she is God knows where.
Yeah.
Doing her thing, flirting with Abraham Lincoln. And actually Abraham Lincoln And he's like, I'm going anyway. So he goes and he's hanging out with these kids. And you see these other parents show up now. This, like, most quintessential, like, pain in the ass, insufferable Karen and Ken, right? And they wheel up with their son who's in a wheelchair. Yep. He's burned and paralyzed on one side, and apparently he's blind because last year he got in the fireworks display during the celebration and blew himself up.
Yeah.
So he's all fucked up on the side of his body. Mm-hmm. Now, Jody sees him. He goes and talks to him, and he's like, hey, you know, I'll come over and we can hang out and, you know, we can do stuff. And the kid won't respond. And he's like, well, I can, you know, talk to you. And he's like, what do you want to do? He's like, we can talk. He's like, I can read you stories and I've got these war comic books. And the mom is like, no.
Yeah.
People like, she's like, it's your fault this happened to him in the first place. Because the dad was like, well, babe, no, he needs some friends. We can't keep him locked in the house.
Right.
He's like, his friends are the reason why this happened in the first place. And Jody was like, I swear I wasn't even there.
Right. And they like forced, I love how they were like, but like it was known as like, people are going to be staring at y'all. And she was like, I don't care. They should see what they did to him.
But it's the mom beforehand that was like, see what happens when you play with fireworks? I was like, you bitch.
Like, why are you doing this to your son? Like, he didn't ask for any of this.
And she had the big like Southern Belle hat.
Yeah.
And the puffy sleeve, like shoulder pad dress that didn't match with anything she had on. It was great. So they wheel him along.
Because wouldn't that be like post-traumatic for him to be around fireworks?
Okay, no, we're gonna get into that because they keep habitually line stepping as parents in this movie.
Oh yeah,
like my eyes were glued on them just on how bad parents they were.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, Sam is around, and he's like stalking the premises.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yep, he's scoping the scene, you know.
He's saying hi to the kids.
Yep.
Like he's having a good ass time, and he walks up on this kid in this wheelchair. This is where we get completely wacky. We've jumped the shark. Like we've gone season 7 of Tales from the Crypt on this one. Like we're so far removed from what a movie's supposed to be.
Yeah.
He runs up on this kid, like grabs him by the face.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, what is it seeing in the dark? And I was like, but you can't see in the light you can always feel in the dark. And this kid's like, who are you?
And then his parents, so coincidentally, they gone. They gone. Like, what are you doing?
This man has completely felt this child's face up, and it's like, you're just like me. We'll take care of him. Now, mind you, this is already creepy stranger danger. The kid can't see. He can't fucking move. And where are his parents? They left his ass in the middle of a field to go get cotton candy and fucking popcorn. These are the worst parents in cinema history. I swear to God.
And then they salter their way back over, and he just whisks away.
Yeah, and she was like, who is that in the Uncle Sam costume? And he was like, oh, I don't know, but he sure is having a good time. And this little boy was like, somebody was just here touching me.
Right, like he just touched my face, and they just like brushed him off.
And they were like, "Oh, it's probably nothing." Like, oh, it's just Uncle Sam. Like, what?
Worst parents. They was the worst.
Okay, so then there's this other child who is friends with the kids from the graveyard.
Yep, the third one. He got away.
So he is like, he gets called up on stage by the mayor because he's going to sing the national anthem. And he's like, this is for my friends. And he starts doing his like rock medley, Luther Vandross version of the Star Spangled Banner. And mind you, this is a conservative town. This is the 90s. They are clutching their pearls. How could he desecrate this song?
Man.
Okay. And then he turns around and he pulls down his pants. Now, he doesn't actually show bare cheek, which I feel like if you were going to do it, you just should have went full on.
I mean, you commit to it.
We've already seen one flat ass. It wouldn't have made a difference. She looked like a man from behind anyway.
Yeah,
so
don't half-ass it. Do it.
Literally. So you get some silky draws and they get him off the stage. Okay? And then they cut to Uncle Sam and he's just like,
he is enraged.
Right? Then we cut to the guy in the Abraham Lincoln costume talking to Isaac Hayes, and Isaac Hayes like upset because that boy messed up the national anthem and it's unpatriotic and he has no idea what that song means. And Abe's like, it's really not that big a deal. And he was like, do you even know any other songs by this guy?
Nope.
Is anybody? He's like, the only song he ever made that anybody knows him for. He's like, can you stand up there and tell me the entire song word for word?
Right.
And Isaac Hayes is like pissed off with Logic. And
I thought he was gonna sing. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, I mean, it's Isaac Hayes. Like, how you gonna have Isaac Hayes in a movie and not let him sing a little bit of something? I thought he was gonna sing. I thought he was gonna bust a note. I was hoping. I had hopes.
But the irony of the fact of this white guy lecturing this black guy about the national anthem, when in actuality it should have been the other way around, because like we all know the national anthem is one of the most racist songs on the planet.
The most. Like
the entirety of the song, not just the part that we sing, but like the whole song.
Woo, it gets deep. It takes a left turn.
Hence why there is a black national anthem, but I digress. So I thought that was ironic, right? That this black guy was like so diehard about the national anthem. Anyway, so he bumps, Isaac Hayes is walking away in a huff and he bumps into Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
And he's got like yellow eyes, like yellow pupils. And he looks at him and he just goes, I'm sorry. Because he just looks at him, he just goes, I'm all right. For no reason. It makes no sense.
None.
And then he like backs away slowly, and then Uncle Sam just goes about his business. So, okay. Then we get to like the sack race.
Oh my gosh, this was so bad.
Okay, so
this sack race was so, man, it was so bad.
All these kids are in this sack race and they're hopping along, and like the kid that fucked up the national anthem is like knocking people over in the sack.
He's running in the sack.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I'm like, how's this happening?
I've never been in a sack race, but I've always been under the impression that you can't run.
Yeah.
But he's running, and he's not just like tapping people. He is full on rolling niggas down on the ground.
Hauling ass.
It looks just like the NFL. He is rolling them down.
Yep.
And he ends up like falling himself and rolling down this hill, and like he passes like all of these like classic cars, and there's some chick giving some guy like top in this car as he's going by.
Man, I mean,
for no reason, just for it has nothing to do with the story. We never even see these people again.
They had a good
just
spot.
There.
They had a good spot. Like it was.
Think about it.
It was a good spot. I mean, hey,
freak.
They had a good spot. And then I just want to. I know, like I this part, there was a part that really stuck out to me when that girl was chopping up them ribs with that hatchet.
Hold on, because I'm gonna get there. Because this one came first.
Ooh, yes.
So he's like trying to get back on the trail, and like there's a little tiny scene before this, right, where the teacher is with these little kids for this parade float, and the one kid's George Washington, and he's like talking about this hatchet.
Yeah.
And he has to go back in the school to get the hatchet, and Sam has the hatchet and he kills the teacher because of course the teacher was a draft dodger. Okay. Now if we cut back to that, right, there is a scene where this girl is cutting up these ribs. I mean, she like
took the ribs off the grill with her bare fucking hands, and I was like, ain't they hot?
Like
and I mean, them ribs look good because they was
no, she was butchering them ribs, man. Like you don't cut ribs like that.
That one rib looked good. I was like, all right.
They look good till she started just hacking them into pieces, looking like Gina when she was making that chicken soup on Martin. Like she was just okay. And the deputy catches her trying to smoke some weed. He takes her joints from her, puts them in his pocket, sends her back. She goes back and she's like, "Where's my cleaver?" Okay, boom. Yeah. So when the boys running down the sack race trying to get back to the race, Sam just teleports out of nowhere with the cleaver.
Yep.
Right. And then he like turns and tries to run, and boom, Sam's in front of him. Ooh. Like he has mystical powers apparently. So, and he chops his head off.
Yeah. Now that was a little.
So, and it's like the most.
It was a little gory. It was a little gory. They didn't show. I mean, of course, they just.
It was
You hear
it was straight up Party City.
You hear the whack, and then you see him holding the head, and then they go back down to the body. Blood. I'm like,
just like that, just like the hatchet kill. The screen goes black, and then he's just on the ground with a hatchet and a little bit of corn syrup on his face. Like there's no kills.
Yeah.
So that kid's dead, right? And then we see like his wife with the deputy, and the deputy's like, everybody already knows we're together. What are you worried about, Sam? And he's like talking shit about Sam, and Sam like overhears him, so he's got to die at some point.
Oh yeah.
And then like, was it the governor or the commissioner shows up?
Yeah.
He's like a dirty politician or some shit like that with his little black crony. You don't really get much from them, but that's their role.
They start just throwing stuff in this
just at the end, like a damn smoothie, like just everything can just go in.
Yeah.
Right. And we also get who gets it next? I want to say it's the girl, the barbecue girl, and her mom.
Yeah.
Because she opens up the smoker and her mom's head is in there.
Yes. Oh, that was whew.
And then he kills her. He pushes her face on the grill.
Yep.
Right. Now, mind you, this kid in the wheelchair, we haven't forgot about him.
Right. He's still there. Just, he seems to have like
the shining.
Yeah. Like he had like these little, he had a vision, but he can't see.
Like this kid has the shine.
Yeah. It was.
Right.
It was so much.
And it kills me because the mayor gets on the mic and he's like, yeah, we had a tragedy today, but it's going to be all right.
It's the 4th of July,
And the little boy looks at his dad and he's like, I know it happened and there's going to be others. Out of nowhere, no prompting, like out of nowhere.
Yep. Still his parents are like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And it's like getting dark now and we're about to get ready for the fireworks, and this poor kid with PTSD is about to hear all this shit. Mm-hmm. And Sam is like shooting at like one of those Target duck games.
Yeah.
And he breaks the BB gun off. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, Abe Lincoln is dead.
Yep.
Through the head. Yep. Right. And then we get to where he like kidnaps like the governor guy.
Yeah.
And he straps him to like the top of the fireworks display.
Yeah.
And he puts sunglasses on him.
This was actually beautiful. I thought this was a beautiful scene.
I mean, it's a beautiful way to see somebody go, but I was just like, okay, if you're going to kill this man anyway, why do you put sunglasses on him?
Yeah.
Like, why would you care about his eyeballs?
Right. It just looked cool. I guess it just looked cool at the time.
And like the whole crowd sees this man up there and they're just screaming and Sam's just hitting switches like a 6'4". Yeah. And everything just starts going up.
Yep.
And the deputy's like trying to run to like go save him and he doesn't make it and the big large fireworks go off and it's beautiful and this man's body's blown apart. Yeah. But he like falls down the hill and then Sam is right there with a flagpole.
Yep. And got
right through the body.
Yep.
So everybody's freaking out. And now let's not forget our amazing parents of this child in the wheelchair. Because what do?
Yeah.
They leave him there. Yeah. Isaac Hayes shows up with Jody.
Yeah. He peace out on him.
Isaac Hayes shows up with Jody. The mom has like fainted and the dad is like, I have to get her to the emergency room. Can you guys take him? Yeah. And Isaac Hayes is like, I'll look after him. Don't worry. He's like, oh, thank you. Because he was just going to leave him with Jody, another kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
He got to take her to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like, just so y'all don't want y'all child nowhere. Just
he didn't even be there at all. He didn't even ask.
Say y'all just want this child to get kidnapped so y'all ain't got to deal with his ailments. Because they did everything they could to leave this child.
He was such a, like, you could tell he was, like, such a bother. Like,
yeah, like, they just kept leaving him. Like, who says, oh, I got to take your mom to the emergency room, person that can't walk or see? Just stay
here, please. Can you just stay with him? Like, what?
So Isaac Hayes, and then Jody's mom and aunt are like gone too. Like they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Right. And they know he's there.
Mm-hmm.
So Isaac Hayes like, come on, kids, let's get y'all out of here. And he like takes them. And the kid's like, I know who's doing this.
Yeah.
And like he tells Jody and Isaac Hayes that it's Sam.
Yep.
Like, it's your uncle.
Yep.
So they go back to where the casket is because Isaac Hayes is like, let's just check this casket to be sure.
Yep.
Now Jody goes in, Isaac Hayes goes in. The kid in the wheelchair has to sit on the curb because they don't have a wheelchair ramp.
Yeah.
Like, this movie just said F the handicap.
Yeah.
Like, on God. Like, just F them. It was like watching the episode of Family Guy where they treat like Joe like shit. Like, that's exactly what it felt like.
Yeah.
So they go inside, they open the casket, and it's like the sergeant that came and told the wife that he was dead. He's just in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Sam is gone. Everything's gone. So they're like, okay, where would he go? Right. The mom is like there. She shows up and she's like, what are you talking about? And they're like, he's alive. And she doesn't believe it. He's like, go get the police.
Yeah.
As if they can do anything.
What are they going to do about a dead nigga? Like, for real.
They go outside and they're like, where would he go? And the kid in the wheelchair, because like I said, he's got the fucking shine. Yep. And he's fucking Jamie Lloyd from Halloween, and he got telepathy with Michael Myers over here.
How did he have a connection with Sam though? Like, how did this boy?
They were both burn victims. I don't know.
Like, how? What was the connection?
You never find out.
There was never no reasoning behind it. It's just, we're gonna have this boy in a wheelchair that's blind have a connection with Sam.
Yeah, but he looks at them and he's like, I know where I would go. Yeah. I'd go get my wife.
And he was on the money. That's the crazy thing. He was on the money with that.
So they go to the wife's house, right? The sister-in-law's house. And they walk in and she already about to start blasting. Yeah. Like, I mean, she about to start stabbing. Like, she had a butcher knife. Like, she was like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Now, there's a scene I skipped. I'm going to get better about skipping shit. It's just shit. Like, there's just certain parts that I get so excited about that I forget. But there's this part.
Mm-hmm.
During the festival when the bodies are popping up where Jody's mom and his aunt tell him that Sam was a really bad guy and he used to hurt them. Yeah. And through the conversation, Jody's mom kind of alludes to the fact that her brother had been molesting her when they were kids.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't say it, but she's like, he did things that no brother should do to their sister. Like, heavily implied.
Heavily implied.
Which frustrated so much. And the wife,
like, the reason why he even joined the military is to get away. With it,
from the accusations. So, and apparently he was a runaway at and he was like a runaway at 14 and like an alcoholic.
Yeah, I was like, how did they let him join the military?
Girl, bye. They never care. So Jody's aware of all this at this point when he goes and sees his aunt and she's scared and she has a knife. Isaac Hayes is there with him. He gives her the gun and is like, hey, don't be afraid to start to use this if you need to.
Don't be afraid to use it.
Yeah, he goes, do you have a phone? She's like, it's in the kitchen. He goes in the kitchen. Sam's already in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Overhearing all this shit.
The movie did that thing where they don't show you the background. They just kind of zoom in on his head and he's behind him. Like, you just know. Yep.
And he gets mad at Isaac Hayes and is like, you did this to me. You filled my head with all these fairy tales. Mm-hmm. And then you just see him like throw him like through like the cutout in the kitchen. Like, he just throws him through it. And I think to myself, like, why didn't his leg fall off?
I know, right? And then he just like, he just shake it off.
Yeah. Like, why didn't his leg pop off? But anyway, so he comes through and like the wife just starts blasting like Danny DeVito.
Yep.
And he's just eating them bullets because he's already dead.
Yeah.
Right. And Jody's like, okay, you guys go get help and go get the cannon to shoot him, the cannon from the town square. And they're like, we're not going to leave you. And Jody's like, he's not going to hurt me. He loves me.
Right.
And he's right. Like, Sam's like, I came back for you.
Yeah.
Because I care about you and we're in this together pretty much. And these people are not good people. I mean, but she was kind of sort of like, he wasn't a good person either. But like, nobody really cared about Jody either. I'm just saying. So Jody like grabs him by the hand and they like They walk out hand in hand like Frankenstein.
Right.
The kid in the wheelchair is still parked outside.
Right. He's like, yeah, they coming. Like he still has his like telepathy with Sam.
Isaac Hayes goes and gets the cannon. Like I said, whatever. They didn't even have no walkie talkies, but he just shows up on time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I can't get a good shot because Jody's in the way. So like Jody jumps out the way and like they blow the cannon and they blow him up, but it doesn't work the first time.
Right.
Which is crazy to me. And they do it again, remember? Like they have to shoot him a second time.
Keep messing with the lighter.
That works. Yeah.
I'm like, come on, bum ass lighter.
Yeah, and then that part works, right? And then we are like at the end of the movie, and you see Jody like burying all of his Uncle Sam's stuff.
Yep.
The mom looks at him, and he turns around, and he looks like Damien from the fucking Omen at the end of this movie.
Yes,
this child looks deranged. It doesn't look like a happy ending. It looks like this kid's fucking hard for life.
And this is how I interpreted the ending. Because, you know, they played that like creepy music too at the end.
Yeah.
And his eyes were like dead. You know what I'm saying? I interpreted it as Sam's spirit jumped into Jody.
Okay, me too. But they tried
he was burning his stuff. So I mean, Sam,
like they made it seem like he was letting go and moving on, but the way this kid was acting was as if like he was like
his eyes had evil eyes. He had evil eyes.
He looked like Damien. Like this movie was, it's like I said last week, it's just cheesy. It's just funny. Mm-hmm. It's just a nice break from these like seriously taken franchises. It's just a good goofy movie that you could put on 4th of July and laugh.
Yeah. But I will say there were several reasons why this probably would not have been like a big blockbuster hit.
Oh yeah.
You know, the swastika that was a hot issue back in the 90s.
It's still a hot issue.
You know, it was a few things where it wasn't politically correct.
Absolutely.
And it was, you know, it just was bad in all the good ways.
It's so bad. It's so bad in the worst type of ways. Like
but
it's cheesy.
But you know, it's a movie that we can revisit. Do you have any like numbers as far as this movie? I don't think it was like
okay. So I know this movie had a budget of $2 million,
and that was a lot of money back in the day.
Back then, yes. Okay, and
89 minutes.
Dread Central says that it does a fine job of bringing the pain while we celebrate independence, even though it kind of plods along and none of it really makes too much sense, which is literally the movie.
That was very accurate because though none of it, that third act, it was like a snowball going down the hill very fast in such a bad way.
No, here's funny because here's a review by DVD Verdict, and they describe the film as sluggish, shoddily produced horror comedy that was a by the numbers turd that sports embarrassing child actors, C-level stars slumming for a paycheck, and a level of suspense that rivals clipping your toenails in a well-lit room.
Very accurate, but it's so accurate.
It's awesome. That was probably the best horrible review of a movie I've ever heard in my life. Like that was so on point.
It was on point. It was definitely on point.
It was so on point. I'm not even mad at them for writing that because that was like there's nothing scary about it. There's nothing like horrifying about it. But like if you just like those like schlocky, like Puppet Master, like Demonic Toys, like just those types of movies, like this is a movie you'll enjoy. Just it's so bad that you're just gonna laugh all the way through it.
It has my favorite. It's categorized as my favorite 3 categories. It is a horror, comedy, slasher film. And I loves me some good horror, a good comedy horror, and a good slasher film. Like I love it.
Now on the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter is 60% and the audience score is 30%.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, that's not bad. It's not terrible. It's
Now,
better than Jeepers Creepers Reborn. I'll tell you that.
this is true. I'm trying to find out, did it go to the movie theaters or did it go straight to DVD?
I think it went straight to DVD. I didn't see
to.
anything about any box office. So I'm wondering, back then, movies that went straight to DVD, they probably recouped a lot of their budget from that, I'm assuming, and maybe distributing.
Well, hold on. Let me not say straight to DVD. It was straight to VHS.
VHS. Okay.
This is still 96.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it's straight to VHS of the 90s, and we had a lot of those.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, if you want to keep your costs low, then that's the way you do it, because
it
costs money to have your movie in so many theaters. And if you're an independent movie, independent film company, you can't afford to have it at so many theaters, across the country, but you can have it in VHS and ship it, distribute it.
Yeah.
To a bunch of different, because Blockbuster
is just a trashy good time. I just knew that this was okay, 4th of July is on a Tuesday. Yeah. The third is we definitely have to do it because there's not that many movies around Independence Day that classify as a horror. Yeah. But like I said, this one is just, I just wanted a nice palate cleanser from all the seriousness that we do on our channel.
Of course.
Because we're so diehard about these franchises. We like what we're doing and dissecting and recouping. It's sometimes just nice to just not think about it and just laugh.
Yeah. Because, I feel like we're witnessing a time right now that creatively we're not getting a lot of new stories. We are getting remakes, prequels, requels. We're getting repackaged things that we're already accustomed to. We already have heard of. So we don't have a lot of brand new stories right now. And Uncle Sam was a story that even I had never heard of.
So I will say that the mid 90s to the 2010s were indie horror goodness. The 8 films to terrify you collections I used to get at Target. You would get the compilations of horror movies on DVDs. Netflix always has some that's when I started getting into Japanese horror because I had never seen it until streaming. There was just a nice run of stuff that people excuse me, probably haven't heard of. But yeah, I feel I just for the next couple of weeks I just want to do some fun one-offs before we get back into a franchise, because I don't think y'all understand that franchises, they take work to review.
Oh yeah.
Because you have to really dissect where your mind was when it first came out to where you are as an adult.
Absolutely.
The differences, the nuances, the here's and nows, the audience perceptions, the budgets. It's a lot of research into what we do love to do. Not that I'm complaining, but it's a lot that goes into a 7-movie franchise.
Hell yeah.
Whereas if we just do a couple of weeks of just one-offs, it kind of, you get burnt out at anything you love.
Hell yeah.
I love chocolate cake. I don't want to eat it every day.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So already have our movie picked out for next week.
All right. Hey.
I always do. Like I said, when it comes to these weird little one-offs, I've got the one-offs.
Because it's a lot. It's a few gems. It's a lot of gems out there.
We lived in Hollywood video. I'm trying to tell y'all. Yeah. I know all of these little cheesy. There's not many you can get past me because I've seen them between the video store, streaming, the bootleg man.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, the bootleg man back in the trunk.
Yep.
Streaming and just doing my own backlogging.
Oh yeah. And
I got tons of this shit.
A lot of those older one-off movies. Tubi is the place to go.
Plus, Showtime did a lot of horror movies back in the day.
They did. They absolutely did.
When we had cable. Showtime, HBO, not so much. HBO was more adult content, like your Real Sex,
Yeah.
your Cat House, and all that shit. If you wanted to like watch some scary movies, you had Showtime or Cinemax.
Yep.
And then Skinemax would come on after midnight, but that's a different thing.
Skinemax was
Skinemax was just like
it was made for not to say kids, but it was made for, people who are like not so, you don't know about the hardcore, because it's the storylines, it's the storylines. It ain't a bunch of, it's not too hardcore, but once you get into hardcore, it's hard to go back.
See, kids, we can give all types of education on this.
All types of, if you want to just get some little bit of excitement, Skinemax was, that was the content.
I promise you that was not planned. If we get some angry comments, just
I know, and I will take the full blame.
Please, no, we don't mean no harm. It's just random conversation. So the movie that we're doing next week is, drum roll, Body Bags by John Carpenter, 1993.
Ooh.
Okay.
Another one that I have not seen.
This is John Carpenter's forte and one-off, only thing he's ever done, into an anthology. Now,
okay,
mind you, this was supposed to be Showtime's answer to Tales from the Crypt on HBO in the 90s. Oh. So this was originally supposed to be a TV series. It didn't get picked up, so they just turned it into a movie.
Okay.
Where John Carpenter himself is in the movie.
Oh.
You will love it. It has so many stars in it. It has the dad from Lizzie McGuire. We've got Wes Craven making a cameo.
Oh, wow.
Okay. We've also got Twiggy, and we all know Twiggy as the 60s model, but also from America's Next Top Model as a judge.
Yep.
And Mark Hamill. Yes, I'm talking Luke Skywalker / the Joker / new Chucky, Mark Hamill with a full-on handlebar mustache.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. Now, what is this again? I gotta look this up. What's the name?
It's called Body Bags, 1993. It's streaming on Peacock, Pluto, Tubi, Sling, Amazon, Freevee, YouTube with the membership, AMC Plus with the membership. You can get it on Vudu for $2.99 and YouTube TV with the premium membership. So it is everywhere. I suggest doing Tubi, Pluto, or Peacock. But
it just showed up on my Tubi of their horror collection.
Yes.
I scrolled past this one.
Yes. It also has cameos by Tom Arnold, and you also have Tobe Hooper as a cameo, Mr. Texas Chainsaw Massacre himself, the director and writer. When I tell you this is one of those like anthology gems, and I mean it's one of my favorites. Courtney will tell you I watch it at least a couple times a year.
Okay.
It is like Tales from the Crypt. Like you can tell this is what it was supposed to be, but I think it's fun. Is it the best movie ever made? No, but I think I love a good anthology. I love when you chop up stories.
Anthologies are, I love them. And I'm looking at the IMDb. It's rated 6.2 out of 10.
When I tell you, when you see Lizzie McGuire's dad in this movie, you're going to be like, Mr. McGuire.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing next week, guys. Join us. That's going to be July 10th.
Yep.
Same time, same place, same channel. And if you didn't catch us here, you're going to catch us on YouTube at Horror Talks with Nisi in May. Well, we will have it uploaded, and we appreciate you guys for being with us tonight. Yeah. We hope you have a happy and safe holiday if you're celebrating. If you don't choose to celebrate, assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. It's okay.
Please,
everybody.
We don't need nobody's hand getting blown off.
Yes, back it up, Terry.
That is always.
So, just be safe, eat some good food, enjoy your loved ones, enjoy the day off if you're lucky enough to have the day off. And we will see you next week.
Yes. Comment. Don't forget on your way out, comment with a flag or some fireworks. And let us know what you thought. If you have never seen
and share.
Share it. Definitely share it. Let us know what you think. We love to get a dialogue going. If you thought we missed something, let us know. We always love to read the comments. So y'all take care. Enjoy your holiday, and we will see y'all next week.
Bye.
Peace.